Let's dive right into today's explainer because we have something absolutely wild to unpack. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're taking a really close look at a wildly fascinating, totally surreal piece of source material. It's a text that somehow manages to blend explosive, blockbuster action imagery with this deep, profound spiritual devotion. It's literally an exploration of how one person processes their daily life by filtering it through two very different lenses at the exact same time: divine faith and high-octane Hollywood cinema. Let's get right into it and see how these two completely opposite worlds manage to collide. So the narrator doesn't just tell us they're driving fast or feeling a bit inspired. No, they write, "But I put speed like a rocket in space, the spirit of Tom Cruise in my eyes." I mean, wow. Right away, you get this massive collision of cosmic speed with pure cinematic inspiration. This isn't just about casually admiring an actor, right? It's about physically embodying the electric energy of a blockbuster movie right in the middle of everyday life. It's a total adrenaline-fueled declaration of purpose. And that brings us to this absolutely fascinating core tension. On one hand, the text leans heavily on the spirit of Christ, but right alongside it, we get the spirit of Tom Cruise. The narrator uniquely equates these two forces, laying them side by side as twin pillars of inspiration. It's like a dual engine driving their mindset. They're drawing moral and spiritual grounding from a divine influence, while simultaneously pulling courage and a sense of total invincibility from Hollywood heroism. It's such a unique way to look at the world. All right, let's jump straight into theme one: divine devotion and the power of love and trust. Now, despite all that high-speed, action-packed vocabulary we just talked about, the narrator's journey is actually anchored in an unwavering spiritual faith. They write, "The emotions of trust, I believe in Jesus Christ, watching from space is my Father in heavens." Notice how even the divine gets framed with this massive cosmic imagery, watching from space. There's a profound comfort happening here. The narrator's operating with total confidence, firmly believing that they're under an omnipresent, watchful, and protective eye. And this is where we see the practical application of that faith. The text literally says, "But I believe, I love you, my God, whatever happens is love." In a world where the narrator constantly feels like they're being watched by envious enemies, this faith acts like an impenetrable emotional shield. Embracing the power of love neutralizes all those worldly concerns and anxieties. It lets the narrator maintain this pure, steadfast stance. Basically, no matter what crazy obstacle gets thrown their way, their spiritual foundation dictates that the ultimate outcome is always love. Moving on to theme 2, the action hero mindset: speed, helmets, and rockets. You guys, this text is absolutely loaded with visceral, action-packed imagery. First, we have the preparation: wearing a helmet. Then the conflict: my enemies watching my ride, like a film envy my mind. And then mundane reality, like beautiful roads, traffic on the bridge, suddenly escalates to, "But I put speed like a rocket in space." The narrator isn't just enduring a boring daily commute or standard daily struggles. They're viewing their entire journey through the lens of a high-octane blockbuster. The world is a movie set, and they are definitely the star. So, how does this all build into a daily routine? Well, it's a very specific preparation process. First, we have step 1, thinking wise. That's a grounded, rational approach to the world. But then, boom, we jump to step 2, wearing a helmet, which acts as both literal safety gear and metaphorical armor against those envious enemies we mentioned. And finally, the magic ingredient, step 3, mirroring Tom Cruise in my heart. They are literally combining practical, everyday wisdom with a total emotional emulation of an action star. It's a step-by-step psychological armor, and it is brilliant. Which brings us to our final theme. Theme 3, the Hollywood mirror and the ultimate realization that today was the best day of my life. If you look at the structure of the entire source text, a very clear, massive pattern emerges. The vast majority of the piece is absolutely dominated by this repeating cycle. Over and over we hear, "Today was the best day of my life," "The spirit of Tom Cruise in my eyes," "Thinking about Hollywood in my dreams," "I love films," "I love Hollywood." This repetition, it isn't an accident. It is the overwhelming heartbeat of the entire piece, swallowing up the unique verses and literally driving the rhythm of the narrator's life. "I want to be like you, Tom Cruise." It just appears over and over and over again. When you read this, you quickly realize this isn't just some casual fan making a statement. It actually functions as a deeply personal mantra. It builds this hypnotic rhythm, expressing pure, unfiltered passion for film. It represents the narrator's ultimate aspiration, to perfectly embody the confidence, the speed, and the heroic resolve of a silver screen legend. And as the text progresses, that momentum just keeps building. I want to be like you, Tom Cruise. The fact that they constantly return to this exact same phrasing reveals a deep, really unrelenting desire for personal transformation. The narrator is actively trying to shape their reality. I mean, think about it. It's something we all do to some extent more facing down our own daily challenges, right? They're essentially attempting to manifest this invincible cinematic persona right into their own existence to overcome whatever's in their way. By the end of the text, this repetition reaches an absolute fever pitch. I want to be like you, Tom Cruise. This constant, relentless cinematic mirroring is what allows the narrator to feel completely invincible. It empowers them to confidently declare with absolute triumph again and again that today was the best day of my life. By holding fiercely on to this Hollywood image, every single mundane day is elevated into something truly triumphant and spectacular. So, the crucial takeaway here is how these two worlds, the divine and the cinematic, ultimately synthesize. The text gives us this incredibly powerful reflective line near the end. Whatever is present has gone past, but my dreams are resurrected at last. This is where the religious concept of resurrection beautifully, seamlessly intertwines with the Hollywood dream. The daily struggles of the present just fade away, and through the combined power of their belief in God and the inspirational spirit of film, all of their dormant dreams are brought vividly back to life. We've seen how this narrator builds a literal suit of invincible armor, using both the spirit of Christ and the spirit of a Hollywood action hero. It is a wildly creative, highly unique survival mechanism for everyday life. But it definitely leaves us with something to think about. What actually happens when profound faith meets blockbuster cinema? And perhaps more importantly, how might your own unique passions, your beliefs, and your own personal heroes combine to help you build your ultimate best day? It's definitely something to consider. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.